We're just coming off one of the most fantastic day of discoveries we've had so far. It was amazing. So many people from literally all over the world came, and we announced some amazing new things. There's some new products, some new opportunities, but the one I want to talk to you about today is about the improvements, and they are major improvements to Innervoice. Now, Innervoice is the very first thing that started the mobile version of AOSCAN. It was the very first program we ever put out because it was that important to us for clients to be able to assess and monitor and deal with the emotions that they're dealing with. We all know that if we don't deal with the emotions, we'll never actually heal the physical. If we don't get rid of the emotion, we won't get rid of the physical. So that's how Innervoice started. And it was crude back then, but it was amazing back then because we could record from your voice the frequencies that were so far out of balance, they were causing discord within our soul, within our self, within our physical being. By addressing those without having to physically and emotionally and verbally address them, but by addressing them with frequency, we were able to bring them to a head to where we could, in a very controlled environment, deal with those frequencies, be grateful for the lessons they taught us, but then allow those to go and to send them on their way. Those of you who have been using Innervoice, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Innervoice takes you to a place where you are able to communicate directly with you, with your inner you, your soul, and deal with emotions that are causing issues. Now, we have lots of emotions throughout the day. They change moment to moment as the day goes by. You can have a wonderful morning, get up, and you're on your way to work and you get rear-ended. Your emotions definitely took a left turn. But by being able to acknowledge that this is just an emotion that I need to cope with and deal with to go forward. All right, let's now bring that into Innervoice. Sometimes we get caught up so much in the minutiae of everything around us in life that we don't listen to ourselves anymore. We don't listen to our inner voice, the real inner voice, your soul voice. Well, when we record with the Innervoice program in AOSCAN, you're able to speak for a few seconds. We analyze a little over 10,000 frequencies that we get in those 10 seconds. We discard about 8,000 of those frequencies because it's just noise. It's just the stuff that isn't really you. But those last remaining 2,000 frequencies is your voice. And in our voice is where we know who we are. It's where our emotions become evident. An Innervoice looks for 4 basic frequencies out of range. The highest one out of range, so you have a center line of your emotions, and then the frequencies above. So we're looking for the highest one, the second highest one, the third highest one from baseline. And then we look for the lowest frequency, that's the frequency that is just not coming out, the one that's being suppressed. Those 4 frequencies, if we have found that if we listen to those frequencies, we acknowledge those frequencies, and we find their balancing frequency, and we listen to that, it helps bring those that are out of range into range. We've learned that the bottom frequency, the one that we suppress, is generally the root of all evil going on with our emotions, so to speak. That lowest emotion is the emotion that maybe happened when we were at birth, maybe before birth, or sometime in our youth, or something that caused us so much trauma that we've started to bury it. We can't deal with it, we can't cope with it, and that particular emotion can prevent us from really reaching our full healthy state. So we look at all 4 of those. Now, in the beginning with Innervoice, we would just put some music in your headset, and then we would put frequencies of the balancing frequency for whichever frequency that was out of range. You'd listen to that for 3 minutes. Now, Nikola Tesla and Raymond Royal Rife found that the body needs to be exposed to a frequency for 150 seconds. We go for 180 seconds, just because a little bit more is probably better in this case. So you listen to that for 180 seconds, and then you listen to the next one, and the next one. And what that frequency that's the reverse of the one that's causing you your issue can now start to soften and maybe come back closer to baseline. And it takes time. It takes time to get through those emotions in most circumstances. But that's how Innervoice worked in the beginning. Then a few years later, we introduced what we called Pulse Innervoice, which allowed you to change the waveform, select the music you want, and the pitch and all these, but we still put those frequencies in the background. But you were able to make the music sound a little more appealing, a little less grating to you. And we've done that for the last year and a half. But this year, Innervoice made a quantum leap. And this leap was to where we're actually able to allow the brain to resonate in ways that we couldn't do before, partly because we didn't have the technology to put it into a portable device that we do today. So let me explain a little bit. The music scale in all of music around the world, the center note is 440 hertz. And that frequency, they found before World War II, caused complacency, agitation, and it made people to where they were able to be more manipulative and be controlled. But the real frequency that resonates, that center frequency, should be 432. Completely different harmonization with the frequencies in our body. So we have gone, and that frequency range is called Verdi, the Verdi scale. And that's where the center note is 432. And the notes above that and the notes below that are on that same scale. So the Verdi scale is the scale that we need to be listening to, the frequencies we need to listen to. But there's other frequencies that are very advantageous for our brain as well. The solfeggio frequencies, and I probably destroyed that name, but those frequencies, the Rife frequencies, and also the frequencies that Nikola Tesla found to be very effective. And so we have now incorporated all of those frequencies in conjunction with the Verdi scale. Now, a lot of this maybe doesn't mean much to most of us, but let me tell you what it does and why it's important. And before I make that step, let me explain one other thing. We went to a composer, a renowned composer by the name of Sean Donahue. And this gentleman is a very spiritually oriented musician and composer. And we went to him and we explained what Innervoice was. We explained the 12 key notes that we needed. We talked with Sean about how each one of these notes has a different effect on emotional imbalances, like being angry or being able to deal with change. That's one that's out of range a lot. Or being able to love ourselves but not be conceited. Being able to be fearful or confident. All of these emotions. And we said each one of these notes deals with one of these emotional imbalances. And this is the key, the note that music needs to be written in. And he took that challenge and he wrote 12 absolutely fully orchestrated pieces of music that we now incorporate into Innervoice. So not only is the music in the right scale and in the right note, the whole orchestration of each one of those songs is that way. So that when the tones that we play back in Innervoice, the real magic, there's no conflict, there's no fighting between the frequencies. It's completely in harmony. So, you know that we take this information from your voice. And from those frequencies, we're able to generate the tones and the frequencies utilizing those that we captured from your voice to play back to you. Why is that important? We know our voice. When we hear our voice, we know that's us. So it's a safe frequency to listen to. Right away, those barriers go down. Then the music comes on, and the music is peaceful. And it's in sync. It's toned with that note. So even just that by itself is going to have a tremendous effect on your emotional state. But the real magic now kicks in, because instead of just playing those notes from your voice back into your headset, we actually did something amazing. And in doing that, instead of putting the tones in our ears, we put one set of tones either from Rife or from Nikola Tesla or from the Savaggio frequencies in one ear and opposite ones in this ear. And so that the note that you need to be hearing, the matrix of frequencies that your brain needs to resonate with, happen in the middle of your head. Not in this ear, not in this ear, but through your whole brain. The whole area of the brain now is resonating the frequency that you need to help balance that emotion that's out. Now, the frequency in this ear is also soothing and also has benefits. And the frequencies in this ear are also very specific and have benefit to us as a whole. And so it's not this is to cover this or this is to cover this. They all work in complete harmony and synchronization. And you listen to that for the 3 minutes. And you will not only feel a change almost instantly, you'll feel it through your whole body. Now, one of the things that's also important is the emotions that we carry affect a certain area of our brain. The right brain, our analytical, our left brain, our creative brain, our top of the brain, which is our more spiritual, our more intuitive brain. But then down at the bottom of the brain, at the cerebellum, the emotional, the physical, the evolutionary part of our brain, the one that we suppress. Okay, so when you look at your screen, when you open up your Innervoice, at the very top, right underneath your name, you're the target, you're the one that we're talking about. There's 2 green buttons. The one on the left has just a microphone in it. That means you're only going to do the Innervoice. The one to the right shows the microphone plus the heart. That means it's also going to do vitals in conjunction with your Innervoice. Now, I know a lot of you use that, and it's a great one to use, especially if you're in a really hurry. I just love doing my Innervoice, and then if I feel like I need to do vitals, I'll do my vitals and my comprehensive. But for right now, let's just talk about the Innervoice part. Underneath that, you're going to see a blue line, and there's like a little square wave symbol, and then there's the verti-grounding, and then the graph, and then the little information. If you push the information button, you'll get some information about the program. But we're just wanting you to know we are in the verti scale. We're not grounding anything. It's just the verti is the scale of music that we're using to do all this. So right below the blue line, you're going to see a stick figure of a face with a throat, and then a vertical line and a horizontal line. And in the center is a little circle, and that symbol just indicates balance. And that's all we're really trying to show is we're trying to get our emotions back in balance. Okay, you'll notice each one of those lines is a different color because they correspond with the corresponding frequencies, the balancing notes that we're going to listen to. So in this way, we have a red, a purple, an orange, and a yellow. Now, down at the bottom, it says dominant frequency, and then those are in the gray are your notes that were out of range. Okay, and from left to right, the furthest right one is our lowest frequency, the one that we're suppressing. Now, if you have the time, and I encourage you to take 12 minutes every day and actually listen to all of these, because it will balance your whole day. But if you're in a really big hurry and you don't have time to listen for 12 minutes, listen to the one on the right. Listen to the one that says center low. Okay? That is the emotion you're suppressing. But if you can take the time, do them all. Now, one thing that's really important here, incredibly important, with Innervoice and with MindSync, you must listen with either earbuds or headphones. Now, you can use your transducer, but we don't recommend that. The transducer is great for scanning and for optimizing frequencies. It is not ideal for doing Innervoice or MindSync. That in mind. Now, if you'll notice down there on the chart, the note C is the left. It says left, right, and then center high. Let me talk a little bit about that as well. We found that the frequencies that we put on the left on some emotions are more efficacious than the one if the primary note is on the left or the right. So the reason there's a left dominant or right dominant or a center high dominant is that's the area of the brain that particular emotion seems to control. Let me say that one more time. If you're seeing a note on the left or the right or the center, that's the area of the brain that's being affected most by that emotional imbalance. The one on the bottom, the left, or on the bottom, that is always going to be the motion that you're suppressing the most. Okay? Now, you have a choice of being able to listen to each one of those notes by just pushing it, and that music will come on, and you'll find that it's pleasant to listen to. It may not be your favorite piece of music, but the longer you listen to it, you'll find that you start to resonate. Your whole body will just kind of calm down to that note. If you want to now go to the next one, you can do it that way. And again, you'll notice on the scale, on the diagram, it's showing you where that frequency is primarily focusing on. In this case, it's the center of the head at the top. The right one, you're going to notice it's going to be over on that side of the brain. And then you also have the lowest one, and you'll see it'll give you that little vibration on the line, that's where the symbol is going. If you just push balancing harmonics, the blue button below, it will just rotate all the way through. And on most devices, it goes through the 12, it will just automatically loop to the front. On some devices, on some Apples or some iPhones and some Apple products, it won't loop through. The newer ones will, but the older ones will not. But the most important thing is you listen to them the one time. Your reports are going to be the same, except for they're coming to you as a PDF, which makes it much easier to email to somebody. But the content on those reports is the same. Innervoice is so powerful. The people that have used Innervoice, this new Innervoice, in the time that we've been beta testing it and even at the event, have reported amazing changes. One person reported that as soon as she turned on her first tone, she was agitated and couldn't listen to it. But when they went back and forced themselves to listen to all the way through, at the end of those 12 minutes, the emotional state of that individual completely changed. There was a calmness and a peace that hadn't been there in a long time. When we were doing the training for the customer support, we were playing these musics, and it was through the speakers even. And two of the individuals immediately felt a change and a shift in their brain. The Innervoice that you have here is absolutely an amazing tool that will get past those emotions that we get stuck on. And it'll help us connect to ourselves better and connect to Source better. I love Innervoice, and I believe that you're going to love Innervoice as you get to know Innervoice, as you start to play with Innervoice. You're going to feel shifts in the way you think. You're going to feel shifts in the way you deal with situations that come up. All right, so that's Innervoice. Let me give you just a little bit more of what was introduced this weekend. We launched Comprehensive for pets, for dogs and cats. So now not only can you do their chakras, but you can also do their vitals and their comprehensive. So that's new. And then on Cephi, we've added minerals, the frequencies for minerals, frequencies for all of your AO tunes, your tuning fork frequencies, as well as essential oils. These have now been added in there. And soon you'll have the music for Innervoice. Without the tones behind it, but just the music, if you want to add that to some of the other things that you're doing. The AOSCAN is never going to be finished. It'll always be changing, and sometimes change is hard. Sometimes we fight change when we should embrace it. I encourage each and every one of you to embrace these new changes. Embrace the new opportunities that you have. Take your spirit, your soul, your energy out to the world. Let people know why you are happier, why you are healthier, and introduce them to these tools. But most importantly, reintroduce these tools to yourself. Recommit to use these tools. Become the product of the product. Until next time.
I am so excited to share with you what we've done in Innervoice in version 2. I've done a lot of meaningful work and fun work here at Solix, and working with AOSCAN directly and with the development team and with Lauren and with the team here, I'd have to say it's one of the most meaningful projects to me. What's been meaningful as well is the development team. Now, while you never know who they are, I want to give them a shout out because what they are able to do is just so mind-blowing, and I feel so amazing to be able to work with an app with that team behind it. And so I hope you feel that way as well, and how much they care about their work and the quality that they show. Okay, so let's dive in. Innervoice version 2, right? I just wanted to say it's another option, right? I'm not coming on here to give you this sales pitch. Everyone's got to switch over to version 2 because we wanted to just provide an option, right? A unique option, perhaps another enjoyable, powerful option to use the AOSCAN. And so maybe for this video, right, if you guys don't mind just following along, I've got my phone here, right? And I've got it open to AOSCAN. And if you might just for the sake of the short time I have with you, just let's switch over, okay? And just so I can show you what we've done. Because some of the stuff we've done is really exciting, in my opinion. Okay, so I'm into the hamburger theme, and I'm gonna go ahead and choose dark. That's my favorite, version 2. I'm gonna scroll down and we're gonna just check out Innervoice. Okay, so we've got the landing page for Innervoice. All the options that are available in version 1 are also available in version 2. And may I just point out that we added a back button. I know many of you wanted that back button, and thank you for that feedback. And so we're gonna start trying to add that more. Okay, we've got your record buttons, we've got your balancing harmonics track, which is by default selected. And then we've got the 4 frequencies, 3 most dominant and 1 suppressed, available to you there. Now, one thing I want to point out, one unique feature that we were really excited about to share for version 2 is this overlay player, okay? And so you've got a few options there. You've got a time stamp, a timeline, a time code that you can see where you're at in your Innervoice recording. And so you've also got a loop button here with the arrows. So if you select that, it's by default unselected. So you want to select it to have that kind of gray color. And you've also got right next to it a restart button if you want to restart your Innervoice music track for any reason. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and play that because I also want to show you a really cool feature. So you're going to scroll down and you're going to hit View Summary. Now here is just kind of a little bit of a unique look again at the graph, right? I love the graph in version 1, and so we kind of took some inspiration from that here. You've got some help buttons, you've got some information buttons to learn more, and down here you also can see Another maybe unique feature of version 2 is the reports or the summary section. So instead of just a long scroll, we've chunked it out into per note here. So I'm going to go ahead and click one, and because I ran a vitals scan with my Innervoice scan, I have this emotions and vitals information, as well as the positive and negative emotions. And you see that information with the glasses there. You can go ahead and go out. Another feature I want to show you in our new version 2 release is MindSync. As you know, you see here, kind of similar look and feel to the Innervoice. You've got all of the customizable options here, and they're all grayed out because I haven't done a recording. Oh, you know what? I'll just do it for the sake of this video so you can see what options are available. Okay, I'm gonna do a 2-second recording. I'm gonna go ahead and go back. So just so you can see it. But you see here, you still have the button to scan for the scanner to suggest to you which script may be helpful. You've got your music option, you've got your offset hertz, and then you've got the volume sliders, the voice sliders. You've got tone to add some Innervoice magic along in there. And then you've got this player as well, which is hopefully, helpful and similar to the Innervoice. One more thing. Okay, I'm going to use this back button so everyone can see. I'm going to scroll over here to Homeo Energetics. We also gave that a redesign for version 2. You can just hit scan and optimize, which scans and optimizes everything. And then once you see at the end here, once it's done, we'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so we have our analysis results from Homeo Energetics. It's very, very similar to what you have in version 1. You've got, I'll just look at what I've got here. You can come here and it'll show you, here's my chromosomes, here's my connective tissue, eye, organs, and there's the whole list there. It's a pretty long list. And for each item in that list, you can look at all of the body system support, the HS detox, and the insect detox for this specific chromosome here. And then what we added, which is another fun feature of version 2 here, is you can imprint or erase. So we recommend erasing its energetic frequency on an object, and then imprinting, and it's imprinting whatever you select from this chromosome analysis result here. So if you just toggle this on and off switch here, and then let's say that I've already erased, I'm gonna go ahead and imprint, and that'll imprint for about 5 seconds. I think you can actually choose here. Yep, we've got 5, 10, and 20-second options here. So that is kind of our updates from version 2. It was so great seeing all of you at Day of Discovery, and we hope you had a great time because we loved having you there. And when we see everyone at Day of Discovery and we experience the 2-day journey together, it lights a fire under us as well. And we leave the event just wanting to serve you more and provide everything that we can for you to be successful with the scanner, with your business, and whatever else you choose to do with Solex. So thank you for your time.